Hello and welcome to the Mindful Caregiver Breathing Circle. So, if this is your first time, I'm so thankful that you're taking the time to check out what this breathing circle can offer you. And if you're returning, I really appreciate your presence once again. So, my name is Sabrina, and I will be your guide inward for this session and any of the other Mindful Caregiver breathing sessions. And here's a little bit about who I am and what you can expect from each of these. So, I am a mindfulness teacher, a meditation instructor, and an intuitive healer. And my purpose is to guide you inward to understand a little bit deeper about your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, and the energy that you hold so you can better navigate the world around you, specifically as a caregiver. And each of these sessions, they are standalone, which means if this is your first time checking one out, you are right on time. You don't have to see a session before this to understand what we're talking about. But if you'd like to check out the other ones, they all are being recorded every time, and then they'll be uploaded to the Yoga for Caregivers YouTube. So you can check out the replays and use them and practice them at your own pace. So these sessions are broken down into 3 sections. The first section is intention or affirmation, and it's where we set the tone for what exactly the topic of each session will be. That will lead us into the second part, which is a dharma talk, a short talk about a little bit more expanding on the day's topic and how it can apply to you. And then third, will be our mindfulness meditation or the mindfulness practice at the end of the session. So altogether, it'll be about 35 to 45 minutes, and it's super beginner friendly. So especially if this is your first time with mindfulness, with paying attention to the breath or tuning inward in any way, I'd really like to remind you again, you are in the right place, and I hope that today's intention resonates with you in some way. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's intention is, and the affirmation that I chose for us to anchor into, is today I exchange my expertise for curiosity and wonder. Today, I exchange my expertise for curiosity and wonder. So not only is this the intention of today's session, but it's also an affirmation that I offer you to anchor into and to use when we go into our meditation at the end of this session. So an anchor is something that reminds us to come back to the present moment, to come back to what our main focus of the practice is, because the mind will wander and we will get distracted. Our goal is not to clear our thoughts and suddenly be in complete silence. So rather than expecting yourself to just shut off all thinking and to be able to be still in both body and mind, we work with the mind and we work with its nature of movement and fluidity by providing ourselves an anchor. So by accepting that the mind will wander, we can use that obstacle and we can find a solution for it, which is our anchor. And so I'll be reminding you of that anchor throughout this session, but particularly during our meditation practice later. And a quote I'd like to share before introducing the specific problem that we'll be talking about today is one by Dr. Maya Angelou, and it goes like this. This is a wonderful day. I have never seen this one before. This quote is so simple, but it really drives home what beginner's mind is. And beginner's mind is an attitude, one of 7 or 9, depending on certain authors tend to, and certain mindfulness teachers tend to teach either 7 or 9 attitudes of mindfulness. But it's one of the attitudes of mindfulness, and it helps you understand that you don't have to have all the answers. And in fact, having a beginner's mind is like having a fresh start in every moment. Every time you practice or bring the attitude of beginner's mind to whatever you're doing, it offers you a fresh start and it offers you a sense of new beginning. So, this is particularly important for caregivers because chances are the tasks that you run into, your day to day responsibilities, the things that are on your to do list, are things that are going to be familiar and a lot of routine and a lot of things that you're going to do over and over again. So chances are your Monday through Friday may look very similar each month with some changes and some transitions and some unexpected hiccups along the way. But for the most part, you recognize the significant aspects of your job and you recognize the ways that you have to show up, the things that are expected of you. And what I want to offer today is a new perspective, not to go and change everything up or to shift up your routine, but instead to bring beginner's mind, a sense of new to what you're doing, even if you've done it 100 times before. So I like to divide these sessions into problem, solution, and then practice. So a problem that we're going to be discussing today and that I believe you can relate to is being trapped in knowing it all and the know-it-all mind, or what I like to call expert's mind, which is the opposite of beginner's mind. So being trapped in expert's mind leaves you no room for new experiences. And when you think about it, it's kind of true, it's kind of simple. If we expect the same things over and over again, then there is no room for anything new. And there's no room for change or opportunity or possibility because our mind has narrowed it down to specific limits and specific things that always happen, right? And so, what's the solution to that? I believe the solution is become the awareness of the experience rather than the expectation of it. And let me break down exactly what that means. To become the awareness of your experience is to remove yourself slightly from it. So rather than being right dead center, rather than being the thoughts, rather than being the emotions that you're experiencing, you could take a step back and you can observe the thoughts and you can observe the emotions. And the same thing goes for the experiences that you go through every day, your circumstances, your day-to-day responsibilities. So how can you bring more awareness to your day-to-day? How can you become the awareness of your experience? First, it starts by recognizing expectations that you may be holding. And now expectations aren't a bad thing. It's kind of like thinking. Our mind is going to wander. We are going to think. It's the nature of the mind. And so expectations are just a part of that nature. After we do something long enough, for an extended period of time, after we do things that we can, let me just pin myself here, okay. After we do things over and over again, and we're showing up in the same way, we're showing up for the same people with the same responsibilities, after a while, we stop thinking about it and we start expecting it. And the same goes for those people, those places. They start expecting us. And so if we show up with a particular energy, that's the energy that's going to be expected almost every time. If we show up with a specific mindset or attitude about something, that will also be expected of us continuously. And so if we bring awareness to some of the expectations that we hold. We may be able to wiggle ourselves out of a little rut. We may be able to shine a light of awareness on how things have always gone. And it's not about changing specifics. Like I said before, it's not about changing your day-to-day routine, because some things are set in stone. And it's not about changing the people or the places that you interact with, because as a caregiver, you understand that this is your job, this is your loved one, this is what you dedicate your time and your service to. So for a lot of us, there isn't room for change. There isn't room for letting go of certain responsibilities. But there's always room for a fresh perspective, for bringing and inviting and allowing a different attitude, a beginner's mind. So I'd like to share a quote with you. It's a passage actually of a blog that I wrote, and it's specifically about beginner's mind. So I'll share that now. A beginner's mind is the attitude of curiosity that encourages you to remain open to what's going on rather than expecting what will happen. Even if whatever is taking place happens to be something that has happened before, or maybe even happens frequently. It's difficult to detach yourself from the emotion or thought pattern that happens so frequently. But by doing so, you are allowing space for something new. So take a moment and consider, when was the last time it was that you allowed space for something new around a topic of familiarity, around the topic of expectation. Take, for example, your daily routine. And if you'd like, you can even get even more specific, and your morning or afternoon or evening routine. There are things that become autopilot. They become so automatic because we do them every single day. And after a while, we don't have to bring awareness to it because it's already getting done, and it's getting done the same way it got done yesterday and the day before that, and so on. But what if we did bring awareness? What if we did shine a light of awareness and recognize that maybe we're not bringing a vibrant energy to it? Maybe we're not paying attention or offering our presence to what we're doing or to who we're interacting with. Maybe we've got 6 different things on our mind, and so our mind is occupied while our body is taking care of the task at hand. Maybe if we tune in and we practice a little awareness, we recognize a disconnect between what we're thinking and what we're doing. And ultimately, a disconnect between me and the person that I'm with, or me and the task that I'm taking care of, the responsibility that needs my attention. And so again, I'd like to remind you that we are all on autopilot at some point. No one is paying specific attention to every single moment that unfolds in their life. And that's not even the purpose of beginner's mind. The purpose of beginner's mind is to recognize that we have an option to bring a different attitude, to not have all the answers, and to not have to expect things to always go right or to always go wrong or to always go the way they have or the way we expect them to or the way others wish they would go. Beginner's mind offers us a wonderful opportunity to be with life as it genuinely unfolds. And the more that we practice beginner's mind, the more that we can become aware of when we're expecting things to be different. the more that we can become aware of when we're expecting things to go our way. And when we recognize that expectation, we can also recognize how it's showing up in our body. We can recognize any tension we might be holding on to and any thoughts that that tension might be connected to. And so just being aware of beginner's mind versus expert's mind, we can start to open the door to awareness of so many other things. And all of that begins within your inner world. So on that note, let's go ahead and start today's practice. So just a quick review. Today's problem is trapped in expert's mind, leaves no room for new experiences. And the solution is to become the awareness of your experience rather than the expectation of it. And the difference, as we've spoken about, is the awareness is taking a step back and watching and observing and noticing how life is unfolding in this moment. Whereas expectation, we haven't taken that step back. We're in it. We're in the story that we've created. We're in the way we wish things would go, or in the way that things always have gone and unfolded for us. And sometimes we can get too deep in that story and not recognize that things are not playing out that way. Or maybe we're perpetuating some more stress for ourselves that is unnecessary, that can be avoided if we take that step back. And so today's practice is applying beginner's mind to your thoughts and your responses. So let's go ahead and get comfortable for today's meditation practice. So if you've never meditated with me before, joined one of these sessions, or at all, I want to tell you that it definitely is a beginner-friendly meditation. I'll be walking you through and guiding you through this practice with a reminder to come back to your breath, to come back to today's intention and affirmation. And I will be offering pockets of silence so you can reflect and so you can allow yourself to practice beginner's mind. So this is a safe space to welcome discomfort, to drop expectations of how a meditation should be, of how you should feel during a meditation. And we're just allowing, we're welcoming, and we're opening a space of allowing whatever shows up to show up for you. So take a moment to get comfortable in your posture, in your body, in the seat beneath you. And you can plant your feet flat on the ground or have them cross-legged or whatever works for you. But most importantly, we want to have our back as straight as possible without being too rigid. Our shoulders dropped away from the ears. Our hands relaxed on our lap or on our sides. And if you're comfortable with it, you can slowly close your eyes over or soften your gaze, staring at nothing in particular. In a moment, I'm going to ring the sound bell to signify the beginning of this practice. And I want you to follow the sound of the bell right into the present moment. Welcome to the here and now. The intention and affirmation that I offer you to anchor into throughout this practice is: today I exchange my expertise for curiosity and wonder. Today I exchange my expertise for curiosity and wonder. At any moment, if the mind wanders, you find yourself distracted, uncomfortable, or feeling anything that may pull you away from this practice, you can say that phrase to yourself and anchor back in. And remember, the breath is always waiting for you in the present moment. Let's start today's practice by tuning into the body with a sense of curiosity and wonder. And we'll start from the bottom half, the toes, the feet, the ankles, and any contact points that you feel beneath your feet or on the side of your legs. See if you can extend a sense of curiosity to the sensations that you're noticing, as if you're recognizing them for the very first time. Moving up the lower half of your legs, your calves, your shins, your knees, all the way up to the front and back of your thighs, and where they connect into your hips, your pelvic bone, your glutes. Feeling the support beneath this area. Can you notice where your clothing ends and your skin begins? Can you notice the contact point between you and the chair or the cushion beneath you? And continue expanding that awareness up your body, through the abdomen and the lower back, the middle and top of your abdomen, and the middle of your back. What sensations do you notice here? Maybe those of hunger or digestion. Maybe the expansion or contraction of your lungs as you breathe. Continue expanding your awareness up the spine to the upper back and shoulders, all the way around to the front, your chest, and your upper abdomen. And including your arms all the way down the side of your body, down to your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, and your fingers. Noticing the contact points of your hands and where your fingertips rest. Noticing any rigid or fluid sensations in your back and your shoulders. Maybe even observing your heartbeat in your chest. Welcoming everything with curiosity and without expectation. And finally, expanding your awareness all the way up the neck, through the jaw, around the skull, your ears, your hairline, your forehead, and all of the muscles of your face. Maybe you notice some tension in the forehead or the eyes, the eyebrows. Or maybe you notice it in the cheeks, in your jaw, or how your tongue clings to the roof of your mouth. Just recognizing these tiny movements, tensions, clenching, that maybe you haven't noticed before or haven't checked in with today. Allowing that which you cannot change to stay as it is. And using your exhale to release any and all tension that is within your control. With each exhale, relaxing the muscles of your face, your neck and shoulders. With each exhale, relaxing deeper into your posture, into the seat beneath you, into the contact points of your lower half. Noticing where you're supported and how you're held in this moment. Now let's bring our attention to solely focus on our breath. Where do you notice the breath in the body? Did you recognize it in your belly or your chest? Your nose or your mouth? Is it quiet or making some noise? Are you breathing shallow or deep? Long or short? Rigid or smooth? Is your body doing the breathing for you? Or have you taken over and brought some control? If you haven't, I invite you to do that now. Inhaling through the nose and slowly exhaling through the nose if it's available to you. Inhaling through the nose and a long exhale through the nose. Continuing this pattern of breathing as you ground into today's anchor and intention. Today, I exchange my expertise for curiosity and wonder. Allow that intention to sink in with each inhale, reminding yourself to let go of expectations on the exhale. I wonder if you can expand that awareness and the dropping of expectations as we venture into the mind and any mental tabs you may have open from the day. What expectations are you holding so tightly to? Are they of the past, or have they not happened yet? Are you holding them for yourself or for others? Is it for something general or specific? And finally, ask yourself, how do these expectations make me feel? When we expect of ourselves or of others, it can often cause suffering that is unnecessary because we expect things to go a particular way or to be different from how they are. We cause ourselves stress rather than working to accept what is, allowing ourselves to see what is. By bringing an attitude of beginner's mind, we allow ourselves to be beginners, and we can extend that courtesy to those that we interact with. We give ourselves permission to not have the answers, to not know it all, and to not expect others to either. So how can you extend beginner's mind to yourself right now? What's an expectation you can drop, let go of, and allow yourself to be a beginner with? What's an expectation that you can drop, that you hold towards others, those that you interact with every day? And how can you extend beginner's mind to your interactions with them, to the way that you show up for them, and to the way that you receive them? And I invite you now to bring your hands in prayer position, or you can place them on your heart center. As we take a few deep breaths and embody the intention of beginner's mind. With each inhale, allow yourself to be a beginner, a clean slate and a fresh perspective. And with each exhale, let go of expectations that weigh you down for yourself and for others. Breathe deeply for the next few moments and embody this intention. Now, as this practice comes to an end, hold on to this intention the rest of the day, the week, and be reminded each time that you interact with others that you can invite a fresh perspective, even to a familiar situation. In a moment, I will ring the bell 3 times to signify the end of this practice. Allow it to carry you into the present moment. As gently as you found your way into this practice, I invite you to take yourself out. Slowly bringing your awareness back into your body, to the environment around you. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. And blinking open your eyes and raising your gaze whenever you're ready. I want to take this moment to thank you for your presence and for sharing this space with me and with all of the caregivers that either tune in live or check out the recording on YouTube. Today's intention is one of my favorite ones because we can get so connected into how things always are or should be, and we can get so disconnected from what's right in front of us. So I'm thankful that you chose to tune into this one today, and I hope that some of the practice or intention or dharma talk resonated with you. Again, my name is Sabrina. I am a mindfulness teacher, a meditation instructor, and an intuitive healer, teaching you about your inner world so you can better navigate the world around you as caregivers. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope to see you at our next session.